Record. Okay, we are recording. Hi, everyone. My name is Krista Gervon. I'm a communications director at Princeton Integrative Health, and I'm joined today by Dr. Conny Garefino, who's our chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner at Princeton Integrative Health. And we're here to talk about, for the Dress for Health Success series, week 3. And this week we'll be discussing exercise and how critical it is for our bodies to remain healthy and moving. So let's get right into it. We'll obviously have time for questions at the end, but Dr. Conny, can you give us a brief and general overview of why exercise and movement is so important to achieving health and wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, how's everybody doing today? Thanks for coming back again for week 3. This week we're going to talk about exercise, and oftentimes with patients, I like to discuss just movement in general, with not necessarily exercise. I mean, it's the actual exercise is important, but incorporating movement into your daily life is really what's going to be key for most people. But exercise, movement, it helps to increase blood flow, which improves circulation and delivers oxygen to your organs, including your brain. It also helps to build muscle, which increases our oxygen carrying capacity, and it strengthens our heart and our lungs. It also improves detoxification because we're sweating, and sweating helps to carry toxins out of the body. And movement also helps to decrease pain and inflammation, and it increases endorphins, which improves our mood and energy.
Wow, so there's a lot of science behind the benefits of exercise and how it really does impact, doesn't necessarily just, it's not just about weight loss or anything like that. It's really critical to keeping our bodies healthy overall.
Many other benefits, yeah.
Yeah, so many. So about how much exercise should we be getting every week or so?
So it's different for every person. And as I was mentioning before, there's a fine line of doing more exercise and doing more damage than doing the right amount. And oftentimes I think they want to start exercising and incorporate all of this movement. And, if you do it too much, too fast, you end up hurting yourself. And then there's not long-term sustainability when you are not enjoying yourself. So I think really it's more about incorporating movement every single day into your life, even if it's in smaller amounts. Research has shown that shorter, more intense sessions can be just as beneficial as longer, more sustained workouts. And it's kind of the same as diet in that variety is key. So you don't want to be doing the same thing every single day. You maybe go for a walk one day, you go for a bike ride the next day, you maybe throw in a high intensity workout, twice a week, that's a little bit shorter, includes some weight bearing exercises that is going to help with our hormone production. It's going to help to build strong, healthy muscles. That's a really, really key component to incorporating movement into your life, is those weight bearing exercises. But then doing the lower impact things like walking or biking or swimming is also really good for building cardiovascular strength and improving lung function. So it's really about variety and incorporating movement at least a little bit into every single day.
Yeah. So I think with, a lot of people, if they have a normal exercise, routine every week and they're switching it up and they have their options, those are awesome ideas. What about for the person who maybe is lacking in motivation or just doesn't really know where to start? Is there anywhere they can what do you suggest to them on how to get started?
So first of all, start small. Even a day with just a little bit of movement is better than a day with no movement at all, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you walked for 10 minutes versus not walking, you're going to feel better about yourself for going for that 10-minute walk than you did for just sitting on your couch for an extra 10 minutes. Second, I think it's a really good idea to find a buddy. Find somebody that can help to hold you accountable. You can schedule times that you can meet and go for a walk or go for a bike ride or, do a virtual workout together. Things like the Peloton bikes are great because you're part of this huge online community and there's always people in classes. Like if you get on and log in and there's always some form of accountability. So finding somebody to help to hold you accountable, and then you can also have a conversation with them while you're working out, and that makes it more fun. So the other thing too, that brings me to my next point, is do something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Find something that really brings you pleasure, not just is to exercise just to exercise. You want things that are going to help to reduce stress and that are going to help to, make you happy, because when we're happy, the chances of us doing it again increases a lot. So things like yoga, walking, dancing, finding a sport that you love, and playing, with your friends and things like that is always going to increase the chances that you're going to do it again.
Absolutely. And just
Yeah.
your point about the Peloton, I mean, prime example, this morning I got on and there was like, I didn't even realize that there was a live ride, for Women's History Month starting in about
Oh,
4 minutes. Quickly texted my cousin. She got on, we rode together, we competed against each other and we had a great time. And she totally
that's
agreed with me,
awesome.
but we won't talk about that, but um, but it
It's
was
a
great.
perfect
It was fun,
example.
and I got her on the bike, and she does the same for me, and it is great. So it's a
Yep.
really good point.
Yeah.
What one little fun fact I wanted to share is that exercise is more effective at increasing your energy levels than caffeine. So you could always, instead of grabbing that extra Starbucks when you're kind of slugging through the day, like you said, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Get outside for a little while instead of grabbing for the coffee.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, exercise increases endorphins, which improves not only our mood, but it also improves our energy. So it's definitely, yeah, it's great for that.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to ask you too about, we all, when we have our exercises, we're, depleted. We want to just like run for the shower and get it over with. What about stretching? How important is stretching to the exercise component?
Stretching is definitely an important component, and if you even can incorporate just a little bit of stretching at the beginning and end of a workout, it's a good way to warm up and to cool down. It's also a good way to work on, breathing and connecting with your breath at the beginning and end of a workout, which will help you to tune into how your body's feeling, seeing how much you could push yourself that day or how much you don't want to. So it's definitely something that you do need to incorporate.
Yeah, and you could even use it as you recover day. If you've
Yeah,
been working out harder throughout the week, you could do a yoga for 45 minutes to an hour and really just take that rest day so your muscles and body can recover from that.
right, right.
Is there anything else? I know that we wanted to kind of get into just looking back on the last year and seeing the effects of, how important exercise was to our overall health as it related to, how people reacted to the COVID virus. Did you want to speak at all about that?
Sure. I mean, movement and exercise improves your immune system. And like I've mentioned a few times, it improves our lung function, it improves cardiovascular health. So all of those things, when exposed to the coronavirus, if we have been exercising and moving, we're going to get over it faster and more easily than if we were completely sedentary. And I know it's been tough in the last year to continue to incorporate as much movement as most of us probably didn't even realize that we were getting. But so many people are now working from home and working virtually, and even just the walk to the bathroom is significantly less than it was when you were in your office building. And maybe when you decided to get up and go to the bathroom, you were going to fill your water bottle at the same time, and maybe you stopped and talked to a colleague or something like that, and all of those things aren't happening. So the amount of sitting and stationariness of our lives has increased so much that we need to do more to incorporate movement into our daily lives to offset the amount that we're not moving as a result of this pandemic and working from home. So it's, I always think about like my teachers that are patients and how much they were moving when they were chasing kids around, and like, going from one classroom to the next and filling up water bottles and going to the bathroom. And everybody's in so much more pain in my chiropractic practice because they're not moving as much. And they say, you know, like, why am I in more pain? Why is my back hurt? And we're not moving. You have to move.
Yeah.
So, you know, finding ways to incorporate movement throughout your workday, even if you're working virtually. You know, I know a lot of people that have, you know, gotten, like we said, like we talked about, a Peloton or, you know, a treadmill. And if you can schedule all your meetings and be on the phone and be walking at the same time, you know, at one point during the day, great. You know, then you're incorporating movement that way. But making sure that you're getting up once an hour for at least 10 minutes is so, so important. And if you can have a standing desk at home, great. You know, have an ergonomic evaluation done so that you have the ability to sit and stand throughout the day, so that you can incorporate more movement, you know, changing positions and getting up and moving. I always tell patients to, you know, do 10 squats when you come back from your bathroom break.
Yeah.
Or, you know, grab a pull-up bar and put it in your doorway. So every time you walk through that doorway, do a few pull-ups, you know, get down and do some lunges, take your dog for a walk, do desk dips. You know, that's an easy exercise to just do a few like desk dips, anything that's going to increase your heart rate multiple times throughout the day and challenge your cardiovascular and lung system a little bit is going to be a really easy way just to start to incorporate more movement and get us a little bit closer to where we were pre-pandemic in the amount of movement that we were having every single day.
Yeah, it's so funny. So many of the things that you're saying we have done. Like my husband has the pull-up bar in the doorway of his office. I have an Apple Watch now that reminds me every hour to get up and stand for a little while. And you know, I didn't realize how much I was sitting before that. You know, when I was like, oh, it's, you know, 10 minutes before the next hour, I gotta, you know, get up and stand so I can close my stand ring.
Yeah, right. I know I have patients setting timers and, you know, using those things like an Apple Watch or, you know, Aura rings or things like that, just to start to like have reminders to move, which is crazy that we have to set reminders now, but that's the world that we're in right now. You know, most people are working virtually and not going into the office. And even patients that I had that I would, you know, they would park at the back of the parking lot and walk to the building. And it's like, you know, a quarter of a mile or something that they're not walking twice or three times a day to and from their cars. You know, we just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, and so many of the examples that you gave seem so simple, but they make such a big difference when you add up. Because if you're doing it every single day, multiple times a day, you know, they are adding up to meaningful movement.
Right.
Even if you're not doing, you know, an hour of cardio every single day, those little bits of movement really do matter.
Little small amounts every hour, you know, every time you need to go and do something other than sit at your computer, make it an opportunity to gain a little bit of extra movement, increase your heart rate a little bit, and it'll add up by the end of the day, by the end of the week, and you'll start to notice a difference in your energy, in your mood, in how your body feels. You know, once we are moving, we're in a lot less pain.
Yeah.
So it's every little chance you get.
And just how it weaves with the first two topics that we've discussed too. You know, if you're working out, you're going to sleep a little bit better.
Yep.
Eating right and you're working out, you're going to see those blend together to make a huge difference in the way that you're feeling and your energy levels. So, you know, we're getting through this series, learning about how these topics all weave together in a way to help us become healthy.
Right.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention or add or give any other advice to anyone who's watching?
I mean, the only thing I think is worth saying is just show up. 98% of life is just showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you end up not having a great day of movement, like I said before, it's still better than a day with no movement at all. And you'll feel better about yourself, even if you incorporate just a little bit of movement in your day. So just show up.
Absolutely.
That's the best advice I can give when it comes to starting to incorporate movement into your life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all this great information today. We will be back next week at 12. We're going to be doing, I believe, stress reduction is the first S, the Dress for Health Success series. And we're also, if you're not aware, as a practice, doing a Women's History Month health series with the women of PIH. So Dr. Conny and I will be doing on March 29th, the topic of reproductive health and reproductive support, maternal support, and the different services that PIH offers around that and how they can help in many different ways. So join us March 29th for that at, I believe it's 11 a.m. So you can go to our Facebook page. Everything's under the events tab, and there's 2 others. Next week, I'll be talking with Regina Schoenberger, who's our cannabis educator, to talk about hormone imbalances. And the following week, I'll be with Jenna Richardson talking about the Metabolic Reset program on March 24th at 12 noon. Everyone has a different time, so it's like hard to remember everything. But everything, again, is on our events page, on our Facebook page. So we hope to see you all there. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you so much, Dr. Conny.
Thanks, Krista. See you
All right,
next
see you soon. Bye, everyone.